Ladies and gentlemen, Kim here. Welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading today. Market is pretty much flat here on the S&P. Nasdaq is down a little bit. Semiconductor down 0.5% there. Also Dow's pretty much flat. Russell 2000 slightly green. Banks up almost 1% there. Energy same. Transport got up a little more today, 1.5% positive. Biotech, emerging market, pretty much flat there. Grayscale, Bitcoin is up a little bit. Gold, silver, GDX did get hit today, down 2% there, while gold and silver is pretty much flat there. Miners did see negative numbers today. Oil up about 2%. Dollars flat. Treasury bond is up, actually down about 1% there. VIX is pretty much flat today. Let's stick with the S&P 65-minute chart spider here. So we talked about yesterday, right, on the last night's update. There was a little bit of gap that actually remained open last night. You can see that lower wick here. So it didn't fill entirety of that gap. So when we did see the first hour sell-off, do you see that's the first hour sell? I'm going to zoom in here, talk more about this right here. So you see that first hour sell-off that we saw this morning, right? And bears might wonder, why didn't we see continuation to the downside? And this is exactly what I talked about in the last night's analysis. Cushion, right? We talked about cushion. So there's that cushion, right? The gap should have been filled. The entirety of that gap should have been filled from the bears yesterday. So because that gap wasn't fully filled, even though we saw that first hour sell-off, right? Because that in that vicinity, not only we have that gap area that's still open, the partial gap that was still open, my micro-term moving average was residing in that vicinity, not to mention that's the prior resistance, potentially new support here. So we got about 3 micro-term support colliding in that vicinity. Definitely is going to bring and provide a cushion in that vicinity. That's the reason why you see that first hour big. Because at one point, this candle right here, it looked like this, right? On that first hour, it was pretty nasty looking candle like this right off the bat, right? And then all of a sudden, right around 4:16 or so, dip buying activities occur. First 2 hours, that short-term moving average was not violated, right? By closing basis, I mean the first hour, it never closed below my micro-term moving average on the first hour. It didn't do that on the second. There was an attempt though. Again, there's a long lower wick. At one point, there's a second attempt to break below that 416-ish area. Failed. Dip buyers came in, brought it back up on a closing basis on an hourly chart. On the second hour, closed above my micro term, and happened again on the 4th hour and the 5th hour. Pretty much all throughout the day today, stayed above my micro-term moving average all day long. It is no coincidence. It is no mistake. It is not a random occurrence. And because of the fact that there was a cushion there in that vicinity, which we talked about on the last night's analysis. Let's zoom in here, maybe get a little bit of better picture. So we're just looking at a micro-term, which is just today's price action. Let's talk about what happened in the month of April here. So now we're looking at more of a short term here. So you can see my short term moving average still residing at 414, my micro term 417. This is where we found support all day long. This is the prior resistance acting as new support, which is called pivot, right? So we do have higher highs here and higher lows. Is this going to be that higher low? We don't know as of today. We don't have a new high as of today. We're still staying below that recent high there. So it's kind of, we're in that neutral zone in the micro term. In the micro term, we're neutral. Keep that in mind. You can see the benefit of the Dow do go to the buyers because of the fact that we're staying above the micro term moving average. But overall sentiment this week is pretty much neutral, moving sideways, right? Maybe the market is, correcting through time instead of price, because after we saw swift move here, kind of digesting its gains, right? As long as we stay above my micro term moving average, I want to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers in the micro term. If we do lose it, there's a 416.55, need to get below that. At that time, if the price gets below 416.55, micro term sentiment is bearish. However, my short term moving average currently still rising here, so it will still be bullish, and we'll have to wonder, because you can see it does have a resume that it did act as support back in April 20th and April 22nd, and both times we did see rallies, right? So that's the level to look at. I think overall sentiment is still bullish with the micro term neutral stance. Let's check out that oscillator and see if we can extract any more information. So that oscillator is actually curling down, right? But the price isn't. Price is moving sideways. If you guys have been watching my videos long enough, you guys know by now that this is what do we call? We call this is correcting through time, right? So you can see the oscillator needed to reset after it hit that overbought level, right? Here you can see definitely correcting through price, right? Here you can see correcting through time, right? The market can correct through price or correct through time. Obviously, this is the best thing you can ask for the buyers, that so they don't have to go through much drawdowns while the oscillator resets, the price moving sideways. Oscillator hasn't crossed back up though. That's probably what we want to see tomorrow. If we do see a move to the upside, we want to see at least 2 hours of a bullish move and stay up for 2 hours, getting above maybe 418 or so. If we see something like that, I could see this oscillator curling back up here, right, tomorrow, and maybe finding support in that vicinity and going after, or at least having some move to the upside. If we do lose the short term and 416.55, you will see this oscillator continuing to lower, right, breaking below this support, and probably going to go after this level here over soul level. And if we see something like that, there might be a little bit more downside tomorrow. So I think this is kind of that juncture where, you know what I mean, we could see certain move, but overall sentiment is bullish. I wanna kind of favor the buyers, because we saw that gap was closed, and the micro term moving average has been holding all day long. So what bulls need to do, see a follow through tomorrow. If we can see a follow through, I could see this thing getting up here. Maybe I'm going to 420. So 417, 416.55 is a level to watch. I'll come back and see how the market behaved. You guys enjoy your evening and go trading tomorrow.